All right, we're live. Hello, hello,
Yeah.
hello, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Great. Great to be here in another MetaMask Snaps community call. Excited to have you all with us. And Francesco, could you go to the next slide? So, quickly going ahead with the agenda, and we'll go ahead with the introductions. So, we'll move forward with introductions and welcome with myself and Eric Bishard from our team. Then we have the MetaMask developer ecosystem with Francesco Andreoli, MetaMask Snaps, who is also that's also going to be done by Francesco. Demos from Snaps Hackathon winner. We have Francesco, another Francesco from the East Tokyo Hackathon. He's one of the Snaps bounty winners, and he'll talk more about why he built the project demo as well. He'll give a short demo and tell you more about how he built the project, and then we'll go forward with announcing the MetaMask Grants DAO for Snaps, and then recap with a special announcement by Francesco Andreoli. That being said, can we go ahead with the introductions? Great. So, talking about myself, I am Manbir from the ConsenSys team. I work as a community manager with ConsenSys. If you're not attending this as your first community call, you might have seen me in the past as well. But talking more about rest of the panelists here, we have Eric Bishard, who is the developer relations manager. We then have Francesco and Francesco. Francesco Andreoli from our team, who is a developer relations manager. And then we have Francesco from East Tokyo Hackathon, who is the bounty winner. I don't know, Eric, Francesco, and Francesco, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Who doesn't know Manbir and Erica? So it's yeah, no, I'm just excited to be here. I see a bunch of people, and yeah, I'm very happy, that we're able to also shout out these amazing teams winning hackathons, and especially I remember the terminal was a really cool hack. And I don't know if you guys slept during these 48 hours, but it was definitely a cool way to engage. And yeah, feel free to introduce yourself, Eric or Francesco.
Absolutely. Yeah, my name is Eric. I'm the developer relations manager with MetaMask, and I work on the SDK API. And I also wanted to give a shout out to Ziad, who's not here, but he's our Snaps developer relations guy for the Snaps team. You can check him out at ZiadMTL on Twitter. If you have any developer questions around Snaps, you can reach out to him or me on Twitter, HTTP Junkie. And yeah, that's about all I've got. Super
Great.
excited to hear about the announcements and also hear more about the project winner.
Awesome. And then we have Francesco from Team D Terminal. D Terminal is a project that was a winning project at East Tokyo, which is an open source tool to help traders understand complex DeFi products using ChatGPT. But Francesco, would you like to introduce yourself quickly and talk more about your project?
So thank you for inviting me today. It's like very nice to be here. So I was at Tokyo to East Global, and I built this project trying to ingest, like, basically integrate on-chain data with AI and see what happens. And I think we found a use case for AI. It was quite exciting to build that and build on top of Snaps as well.
Awesome, awesome, super exciting. Great. So we can kick off with the next part. Francesco, would you like to
Sounds
take it
good.
forward?
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Manbir. Yeah, so quick context around the MetaMask developer ecosystem in general, right? And for everybody that doesn't know us, we are really we're trying to cover all these developer events and activation, right? Not just with your this what you see today, like those community calls, but also like through being really where the builders are during those ETH global hackathons with all those hackathon, and also organizing a bunch of cool side events. And obviously, this is something that Manbir will speak about, but MetaMask Grants DAO is something that is quite exciting because everybody, not just in our ecosystem, but everybody can apply for those grants, and it's quite a good chunk of money. You just need to follow like those proposal patterns, and I think it's a great opportunity also to get eyes on what you're building in Web3. Cool, but I think let's start on what are actually snaps, and for everybody that is a developer out there. And I think it's something that we are very excited about. Not just not just our team, but the entire ecosystem. Is that snaps are basically like able to extend the functionality of what MetaMask is today on production, and think about there like some sort of like extension of what you can do today. And we will go through different use case, but example like non-EVM compatible snaps or notification snaps. So anything that you think about that could extend the functionality of what MetaMask is today. And this obviously is available on the developer version MetaMask that's basically called Flask. And we go through this information a little bit later. But I don't want to bore you with details, but like an important part of snaps is they are basically coming with 0 permission by default. So every time that the snap is interacting with the extension, you have 0 permission by default, meaning every time you need to approve the snap interacting with when you have network access, DX access, so different like ways also like access to your like for example private key directly on Flask. And that's probably like quite interesting. And also like extending the functionality, meaning also you have its own the snap has its own API, and you can use it for different methods. And I think that's probably like super exciting. And feel free to jump in, Manbir or Eric, if you guys want to also add more stuff on this, because I think like this time we have a cool community call, and definitely like make sense. So this is what you see when you install a snap. As I mentioned before, so you have zero. So you see basically both access the internet and fetch the displays transaction inside are access to the extension. So this kind of 0 permission by default is actually super powerful, because you as user also you're aware, and you're aware exactly how the snap's interacting with your extension, and you don't have basically like you don't get surprises. So how this works? So on a technical level, a snap is nothing else as an npm package. You have 3 main files: the source code, the manifest, and the JSON. The package.json, and everything is bundled in a JavaScript file, and you will find it in npm.js. And basically like this is how we are distributing the snap, and there are different like steps. So when you publish your snap to npm.js.io, the second step is basically like you deploy a dApp to invite user to install those dApp. And the quite cool part is that everybody afterwards can install your snap in their dApps. Important part on Flask is that you will see also different other like developer setting, and one of course is the snap part in Flask, and you will basically see a list of snaps that are activated. You can see details, you can see if they're stopped or running, and it's just quite clear also which snap is activated or not. And then basically as the last step is that every dApp can access your snap too, and it's quite it's quite exciting what's going on here. And thanks guys for write also your question in both bottom on the left where you see ask your question, or just in the chat. We can redirect people afterwards. Cool, but the question is not, we touched a little bit like before on what use case you're able to do with snaps, but there are different ones. And we try to verticalize those in different categories, but obviously like, as I mentioned before, the EVM extension, the layer 2s are quite exciting. We see a bunch of account abstraction use case. Both privacy and identity are good snaps use case. I'm excited also on communication snaps, meaning you can, I think was back in DEF CON Bogota that a team built some sort of like chatting bot through Snap. That was quite cool. And also like back, I think in ETH India, this was in the EVM extension vertical. He built basically a Cosmos Snap where you were able to do Cosmos transaction, Atom transaction in directly MetaMask. But there are a bunch of like non-EVM compatible snap. For example, the one from Starknet, is actually quite cool. There is the BTC Snap. There are a bunch of those examples that I think also they're shared in the after we will basically have some resources page where you can actually create that. But yeah, so it's an ever-growing API, so you can do different things, right? These are like the latest shipped features. But apart like notification, you can also display customer confirmation. You can store or manage data. As we mentioned before, non-EVM accounts and assets. We are super excited also on the cron jobs, and obviously the customer interaction UI is something that we're pushing for that and much more. And plus, we also push the announcement later on that. Cool. I think we're on time. This was like a quick intro, and yeah, feel free. Do you guys want to add something, Eric or Manbir, on Snaps in general? Like, why are you excited about Snaps, and what do you think about that Snaps are needed in the developer tooling market?
Yeah, I just like seeing all of the new Snaps use cases. Every time that we have a hackathon, we just see something new that someone hasn't done before. Our last community call had the Smart Trans, which allowed people to use MetaMask to pay for public transportation. The use case that we have today is really amazing. I think it'll give people a lot of ideas, and really the sky's the limit with Snaps. It's an extensibility to MetaMask. So it means pretty much whatever you can think up or dream up, you can potentially build with Snaps. So that's why I like it so much. But yeah, I just love seeing all the new interesting ways people are using it, even outside of kind of like non-EVM, managing keys for other coins and stuff. I just like seeing all these very interesting snaps. Again, like the one we had today. I'm super excited to see it again.
Nice.
To add to that, one analogy that I always tend to use is that think of snaps like Lego pieces, like Lego blocks, for example. And you can essentially connect various different Lego blocks. You can hook up various different applications, various different APIs. With MetaMask, you can bring in your own APIs, your own features. You can simply extend the functionality of MetaMask by adding various chains, various different applications, various dApps. So yeah, I mean, it all depends on you, whatever you'd like to build, I would say.
Sounds good. Oh, awesome. Yeah, definitely. Like it's an exciting time also to be alive as builder and seeing like, what the community is building and which use case, but every hackathon we're discovering something new, and it's just great to be part. Cool. So without further ado, welcome Francesco, welcome D-Terminal, and I will shut my mouth now and leave you the screen and the words. And that's super exciting what you guys build in Tokyo. But important question before you start: did you had some sleep during ETHTokyo?
Yes, after. Yeah, it was like 2 busy days, but actually I
Nice. So D-Terminal, so an open source tool to help traders understand complex DeFi product using ChatGPT. So yeah, so feel free to take it away. Are you sharing your screen?
Yes, let me share it.
Sounds good. Just the introduction looks super interesting, and for all the traders out there, but also like the backbone infrastructure. Cool, yeah, awesome. So welcome, Francesco.
I'm Francesco, well, Francesco C, not A, and together with my co-founder and teammate Catherine, she's not here today, we built the terminal during the ETHTokyo, right? And the idea is that it's DeFi explained by AI. So if you use any on-chain like trading, like for example Uniswap V3, sometimes it feels like this, right? But you're looking at a lot of data and it's not clear what you have to do. And so if you're like me, you want to say pull out liquidity into a Uniswap V3 pool, you have like 4 or 5 tabs open, each one of them showing something different, and then you have like an Excel spreadsheet keeping track of everything. And that's obviously a lot of work. But we know that ChatGPT, is very good at summarizing stuff. And so we are like, why not combine them together so that we have ChatGPT summarize what's happening on chain so we can trade. So that's our demo. And it is that we have a simple interface where we ask a question to ChatGPT. For example, we can ask, what is the liquidity in the ETH USDC pool? And ChatGPT will, find the answer by looking up on-chain data and give us the answer in this way. But obviously, that's something to find like in the Uniswap dashboard. It's not very exciting. What is more exciting is that if I describe what I want to do, and then I have ChatGPT basically go through like 3 or 4 tabs worth of data and give me an answer. And after a while, it comes back to me and it says, okay, that's, if you deposit like $1,000 into this pool, that's how much you expect to earn. And because the USDC pool is the biggest pool in the basically on Uniswap, I'm not going to basically earn anything because $1,000 is nothing for that pool. And so I know that probably is not worth my time to actually deposit $1,000 in the pool. And here we can see all the steps that ChatGPT had to take to find the answer. And especially that's all the work we would have to do ourselves if we were to do it like the old way. But obviously, I think one thing is that no one is really going to use a chat to trade, right? They want to use MetaMask because that's what everyone is using. And so for ETH Global, we create a snap. And here we are installing the snap like we saw previously. And we approve and install, and it's running locally because it's a demo. And now we are on Uniswap, and we want to deposit $40 in the pool because that's how much I had. And now I start, that's the familiar MetaMask interface. And now we are loading the data in our snap. So it's basically what's happening now is it's talking to our backend, which is using ChatGPT and like looking up on-chain data to find the answer. And after a while, we get that basically we are not going to earn anything in fees. Because MetaMask tells me also how much I'm going to spend in transactions, right? I know that it's better to not actually send a transaction, so I reject it. So in this case, it saves us some money. So I think what's interesting is that how we built it in basically, I think, 2 days. And it is that we built an agent, which is powered by OpenAI and LangChain, which is a JavaScript library to basically build AI agents. And basically, we gave this agent tools to interact with the chain. So it knows how to look up for information about your Uniswap pools. And also, it knows how to compute the expected fees and like how much we need to deposit. And basically, we also built an indexer that fetches on-chain data and puts in a database in a format that's very convenient for the agent. And finally, we built a MetaMask Snap. And so here is the main way that the agent works, is that you have this JavaScript code that talks to OpenAI to think about what it needs to do. And then we give it a set of tools, so it knows how to compute how much it needs to deposit or how fees are computed, or it knows about the pool liquidity. And then everything is held together with this LangChain library. And so then we built the MetaMask Snap, which was very, very easy and fast. Like the SDK is actually great. And so it was the easiest part of the hackathon, probably. And the idea is basically we have this type of snap that's called like transaction insight. And the idea is that before the user signs the transaction, our snap gets the raw transaction data and sends it to our backend. And then the backend decodes this transaction, sees that it's a, say, Uniswap transaction, and converts this information into a prompt for ChatGPT. So in this case, we can see the transaction was doing the Nebo. Is translated to basically, I'm sending a Uniswap pool mean transaction for the pool, and then I replace with the pool name. And I'm depositing this much USD and this much ETH in the range that I gave to the transaction. And then I ask the question to ChatGPT and say, what fee should I expect daily, weekly, and monthly? And it gave me the value. And then I say, describe that in human readable form and no machine text. Because what I noticed that building the demo is that OpenAI sometimes try to output JSON data, which is not user-friendly. So that's why we had to add this to the prompt. And after that, we get the data. We get like some text description from ChatGPT, and we display that in MetaMask using the UI, basically API they have. And so, yeah, so that's the thing. And basically, the idea is that how to improve what we have now, it would be to add all historical data for other pools, and also like to give more information to ChatGPT. And also it could be to integrate other DeFi products, for example, Aave, so that you can have like very complex transaction and AI can help you build these transactions. And that's it. And also like everything is open source. So if you want to see how it was made and learn from it, you can go on GitHub.
Nice, super useful. So how you guys build? Do you start from this monorepo or Snaps example?
I don't think so. Because again, like I think what I found surprising and actually was as a nice surprise is that it's quite easy to just import the Snap like npm package and then just integrate that with the examples that you have on the website. And it's like again, like it was probably the easiest thing to do in the hackathon. Basically, I think if I could do it after basically 40 hours of no sleep, I show people that are well rested can do it like in even less time.
Are there any major like features that you weren't able to get in for the hackathon, but that you could see yourself building kind of out further with this Snap?
See, the Snap part was, I think we did everything we wanted to do, to be honest. We wanted to integrate more on-chain data, but obviously it's not getting on-chain data into say a database is not as easy, and it's actually something I'm working on in my as full time right now, my company. But I think for the Snap, like really, I was like at the beginning of this idea, I just want to talk to my API and get it back, and I was worried that that would not be possible, and then I found out it's actually possible and very easy to do, and I can use like the Fetch API right from JavaScript. I don't need to do anything weird, and really, it's like easiest thing ever.
I think I missed one thing in the demo. Does it actually use like notifications within MetaMask?
No, we do the transaction insight for now.
Okay, transactional insights. Gotcha. Great. Questions from you guys?
That's exciting. No, just how was the onboarding? You went through directly documentation, or you used like some examples that were providing in the repo?
Oh yeah, I did use basically what I did is that I went through the documentation and I looked at the source code you have in the mono repo, and then I copy and pasted the relevant things in my project, because I had a mono repo where I had the indexer, the API, the front end, so it was very easy to integrate with the rest of my JavaScript mono repo by basically copy and pasting code.
Nice. Oh, cool. Sounds good. Anything that you wish like you had, I don't know, during the hackathon, or what are you doing next for building the Snap further?
So I think it would be nicer to have more controls, right? From what I saw like during the demo is just you can only output text, but maybe it would be nicer to say have a slide, right, where I can change my Uniswap position directly from MetaMask and have it update in real time, like with the information, right? I think I would like to make my Snap a bit more interactive. That's the only wish.
Great. Can you share more about how you got the idea of building this Snap at the first place? How you got the idea of fusing MetaMask Snap with ChatGPT or AI, for that matter?
Yeah, so we were looking, again, all my, my projects, I focus on on-chain data, and like, it's a lot of data, right? And we know that AI is very good at going through data very, very quickly and give you like insights on what's happening. That as humans, we could have the same insight. It would take us 1 month to go through like terabytes of data. But if you use like, computers, they're very fast at that. And so we are like, okay, then what is the most complex thing I do on-chain now? And I realized it's that using Uniswap v3. Like really, like providing liquidity, you need to have like the Uniswap interface in one slot on one tab. Then you need to have probably like the Uniswap fish on the other. Then you need Uniswap analytics on the other tab. And it's a lot of work. And like, then I want something that helps me automate that, because it's something I would use myself.
Great, awesome. And what would you recommend to the people out there who are just getting started with building on Snaps? How do you suggest them to get started? Do you suggest them to go to the documentation, or to look at the existing examples of Snaps that people have built, or go to the mono repo and under the discussion, maybe they can post something?
I would say the way I did is that when I was studying the Snap API, I just cloned the mono repo, ran the example, and started like tweaking things to do what I wanted, to learn how it works. Because after you understand a bit how to set it up and how it works, it's very easy to use. Really, like just do it. It's like not much study to do it.
Cool. And say if you'd like to give an idea to someone who's just getting started with building on Snaps, like if you didn't build this Snap, what else would you build? Just to give an example of a snap, what's a good first snap according to you, if it's not this one?
I think, in general, like transaction decoding, that explaining what a transaction is going to do, I think is very important.
Transaction insights, yeah.
Yeah, transaction insights are like probably my favorite. And so like probably like notifications, like like I want to know, for example, how, like if someone deposit a lot of liquidity in a Uniswap pool, or like there's a big price change, I would like to get a notification about that. And it would be nice if Uniswap, like MetaMask, will warn me that something happened, also give me like a one-click solution, right? Say, okay, then withdraw your liquidity because now you're not earning any fees anymore.
Great, awesome. Francesco, do you have more questions?
I think it was super insightful, and it's great also to see that what you can accomplish in those 48 hours. And yeah, I'm definitely like excited. Excited to see also like further build the Snap. And yeah, no, sounds good. Awesome, thanks Francesco for being here and also like sharing what you build during Tokyo.
Just one last question, Francesco. What would you say for people to empower them out there to attend these hackathons and build various different solutions like Snaps, for example, out at the hackathons?
Yeah, I think hackathons are great because you have a very fixed deadline that you cannot, right? So sometimes as developers, we want to do the things like perfectly. But I think what hackathons really teach is that getting things done is more important than doing them perfectly, right? So I really encourage people to not only attend hackathon, but also like have the hackathon mentality every week, where they set like a fixed deadline for what they're building, so that way they have to deliver by that date. Really very useful as developer.
Sounds good. Yeah, this is really a big lesson learned also. Pareto efficiency, right? 80-20.
Yeah.
Definitely a good point. Cool. Okay, let me share my screen so we can go to MetaMask Grants DAO. And here you are. Manbir, it's all yours.
Great. All right. So let me introduce you all to MetaMask Grants DAO. What it is essentially and what it does, what's in it for you. So I would start off by saying that making MetaMask as a product as the most extensible wallet in the world requires decentralizing efforts to build it out. And if you could go to the next slide, Francesco. And it requires immense efforts in decentralizing basically to build it out. And not only will it accelerate growth for crypto comfortable users, but it will also boost adoption for various crypto curious individuals that will have more paths to explore. And we believe the next step in this process is the MetaMask Grants DAO, which is essentially an employee-driven, consensus-funded DAO that issues grants for developers building impactful experiences within the MetaMask ecosystem. And we seek to support developers across the community to be able to nimbly build on top of the MetaMask ecosystem while empowering employees to embrace Web3 mechanisms and contribute as one consensus. So if you could go to the next slide, yeah. Talking more about the foundational pieces of the block. So there's essentially an employee-led DAO. Then we go to the next one, that is the leadership committee, and then we have the secure multisig. Talking about the employee-led DAO, we have that's basically the heart of the DAO, made up of full-time consensus employees, but we're also looking to decentralize over time and add external contributors. Talking about the leadership committee, that's essentially the head of DAO, made up of 7 individuals responsible for finding high potential projects, high potential talent, creating governance proposals, updating external content, gathering feedback on the DAO, driving improvements to the DAO, and queuing multisig transactions. Then we have the secure multisig, which is essentially a multisig controlled by ConsenSys that will manage the token contract and treasury. The Gnosis safe signers will be responsible for signing transactions for the disbursal of funds, as well as minting or burning of tokens as employees leave the company. Can we go to the next slide? Cool. Talking more about how these grants work. So there are essentially 2 parts to it: the leadership committee grants and the full DAO grants. The leadership committee grants are allocated exclusively to the leadership committee to vote on. These are allocated exclusively by any leadership committee member that can make a proposal, and proposals with at least 5 yes votes at the closing time will pass. Then we have the full DAO grants that is essentially allocated for the full DAO to vote on, and any leadership committee member that can basically make a proposal to the full DAO. And proposals with more yes than no votes at closing will pass again. Can we go to the next slide? All right, talking more about the DAO objectives. So the DAO objectives are essentially to understand, to fund, and to engage. To understand how to operate a token and a DAO as a company, we aim to begin the process of progressive decentralization of the MetaMask Grants DAO by exploring a token-based governance model that allows full DAO members or ConsenSys employees to vote on full DAO grant proposals. And then more than 50% of the DAO initial budget is allocated through tokenized proposal voting within the first 3 months of the operation. Then by funding meaningful projects that provide value to the MetaMask ecosystem, each grant can be broken into multiple disbursements with specific milestones depending on the size of the grant. And then to engage with the DAO members, we aim to have at least 15% of DAO members participate in at least one governance proposal within the first 3 months of operation. Can we go to the next slide? Great. So here's the grants reward criteria. MetaMask Grants DAO is live, and if you have participated in one of the past hackathons of ours or workshops in the past and are interested in working with us again through our grants program, definitely do reconnect with us, with our team, and get in touch. If you have a Snaps idea, we have an open wish list, and these are some of our immediate focus areas that include enabling a multi-chain MetaMask future by adding support for strategic L1 and L2 networks, enabling Ethereum features that will benefit our Ethereum developer community, such as smart contract accounts, MPC, delegatable authorization, sign-in with Ethereum, custom gas fee enhancements, etc. Then we have enhancing user privacy and security, transaction insights, phishing prevention, ZK proving, DIDs, and so on. So if you have any ideas that you want to bring to the table, that you want to bring to the MetaMask to extend the functionality of it, this is your time to shine. Let us know and email us at metamaskgrants@consensys.net and drop us an application, or simply learn more about us and check out the website at metamaskgrants.org. So if you go to the next slide, Francesco. So yeah, this is the website, basically metamaskgrants.org.
Super excited. Do you have some cool project that you see the proposal being sent, Manbir?
Yes, definitely. So if you visit metamaskgrants.org, you could simply show a bunch of projects as well. If you can open that in a new tab, Francesco, we can basically walk the audience through some of these. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, if you go to the funded grants, you can see a bunch of projects there. Yeah, so we have a bunch of these projects. I see some of these are focusing on DeFi. Some of these are focusing on account abstraction. I know a lot of the people that are actively building on account abstraction as well. But Snaps directory, we have essentially a directory for the snaps that people are building. Safiron, again, a very popular snap. Then we have the Bitcoin snap as well. I'm not sure if it's under the list, but that's again a great example.
Nice.
But again, would you like to share a bunch of cool snaps that you have seen, Francesco, in one of the past hackathons?
Yeah, for sure. Like I saw, Bitcoin snap, Starknet snap, the Cosmos snap was super cool. Notification, there was a notification snap, was actually cool. I think from last Bogota, we had also an account abstraction called AA snap, basically managing different accounts. So it was really cool, and for recovery without actually email recovery. That was really interesting. Yeah, but I think there are no limitation here, right? My suggestion is always if you're winning a hackathon or you need further support, the grant is not just a good way to get the money, but also to get involved in the entire ConsenSys ecosystem. All our engineering team is also like checking out what the submissions are. So I think it's also good a good way to get exposure. Sounds good. Cool. Let's I would say let's do a quick recap. I think we're good on time. And yeah, so what we mentioned, and we also see from Francesco today. So the way you access Snaps is through Flask. So as I mentioned before, Flask is the canary version of MetaMask, and yeah, you have a bunch of links. We will share also some information after the call, and it's just a good way to develop a Snap. So this QR code will follow you to basically like a page, a discussion page in GitHub, where you see a bunch of resources, you see like videos, you see some example snaps, but most important, you see the mono repo and the example snap that you want to use for building your first snap. And yeah, and some example like the StarkNet and the transaction insight snap, and yeah, and for any future updates and everything that is happening into like the developer ecosystem, just follow like MetaMask Dev. I think that's a great way to also stay tuned for informations. Cool. So what we did today, we learned about snaps. We saw what Francesco presented and how they build and win ETHTokyo. We also like presented what MetaMask Grants DAO and how you submit a proposal. We show you a little bit what examples and what verticals are snaps for, but basically there is no limit on that sense. We have also tomorrow a Twitter space that will happening, so that's quite also exciting because we will show also what with our Twitter community what you can build with snaps, and we're very happy also to have Francesco there. We have also like pushing the next community call, probably will be on ETH Lisbon Hackathon winners, and also very silently we're spinning like an ambassador, like a public ambassador program called ConsenSys Product Pros, where you will basically like be focused on building cool stuff, creating good content or presenting cool content, and obviously Snaps is a big vertical. So for any Snaps developer that basically like build or won or just was involved in different hackathons or both offline and online, feel free to apply to this. We will follow up with more information, and yeah, the big announcement. We kind of like spoil it a bit like in hackathons when people are asking, but Snaps are launching Q3, and we're looking also for business partners that are also interested in building Snap. And I think like the lesson learned here is also feel free to reach us out, like or anybody in the MetaMask team if you're interested. You have basically like you want to build you have a business, you want to build a Snap out of it. And I think that's a great way also to start this Snap journey. Cool. So in terms of events, so the next one will be in Waterloo, and afterwards we all meet during ACC and ETH Global Paris. So if you want to participate in those, we also like have another ConsenSys Connect. So this is a tailored developer day conference, and we're super excited to have this because we will also shout out a lot of like ecosystem developers and ecosystem like companies building cool stuff in the Web3 community, and yeah, and we're always like available for you if you need any support. Also check out the ConsenSys Discord. There is a Snap dedicated channel for developers where you can ask your question. We can help you solve and doing debugging, and yeah, I think like also shout out to Christina, that KB. She was answering she's still answering a lot of questions in the chat, and I'm very glad that everybody's on top of those things. And it's great to see also this engagement, and yeah, I think that's it. And big shout out to you, Manbir, and Eric for always helping facilitating these calls. And thanks, Francesco, also to coming by and show what you can do and what you build in during Snap. And I'm looking forward to see you in the Twitter space.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Francesco, for hosting this call. And thanks, Francesco, again for showcasing your snap. I'm not sure if, Francesco, do you have any closing remarks for the people out there?
Oh, this Francesco. Thank you for having me on this. It was nice to present what we built and in front of our audience.
Awesome. Looking forward to having you on our Twitter space tomorrow. And definitely, everyone, make sure to join our Discord. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, as well as find us at the events that Francesco mentioned. Francesco and Jody, of course. But yeah, it was great having you all with us, and see you all on our next community call and Twitter space.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you guys. Bye.